Alabama football has announced their leaders who will attend the 2025 edition of SEC Media Days starting very soon, and one of them might surprise you. Let's talk about it. It's time to start talking about 2025 player outlooks. This is Way Offsides. 3, 2, let's go. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever the case may be. Welcome to Way Offsides, your favorite Alabama sports talk on YouTube. That's Way Offsides with 4 A's, never 3, never 5, always 4. 3's not enough, 5's too many, 4, just like in the word Alabama. Hey, what are you doing right now? You got a couple seconds? If so, go over and hit the subscribe button. While you're at it, also hit the notification bell. Doing helps us to bring you the best content out there. Ignore my misclick just now. Call it the best content out there and then misclick. Whatever. We're rolling with it. We're going to roll through it, adapt, and overcome. We are only, 8 Saturdays away from the 2025 college football season, one that carries with it hefty expectations for the Alabama Crimson Tide. It is playoffs or bust for Alabama and Kalen DeBoer in his second year, and they've got the pieces to do it. Specifically, one of the projected to be best offensive lines in the country. Now, we all know the defense. We all know about the wide receivers. The quarterback, we know it's at least going to be tied when they start down there in Tallahassee. But that offensive line, even with its question marks, is geared up to potentially be one of the better ones we've seen at Alabama in the last 5 years, which is exciting because Alabama's offensive line play has been a little spotty for a couple of years. Even under Nick Saban, his last couple of years, it was a little spotty. Even the Heisman year for Bryce Young, it was a little spotty. So with that, we're kind of in this dead period of sports right now. There's not a lot going on. College basketball's done. Baseball's done. NBA finals have happened. We're just waiting for college football. EA Sports has dropped NCAA 26. That's about as much as we're going to get until SEC Media Days, which are ready to take place in a little under a week. The event will take place from July 14th through the 17th in Atlanta, with Alabama being scheduled on the 16th. And Alabama announced yesterday that they will bring with them Tim Keenan III, Deontay Lawson, and Kadyn Proctor, a name that surprised some people. Not surprising to me, to be honest with you, because I think Proctor, in all his controversy and everything that he's been through, is going to be one of the focal offensive leaders on this 2025 squad. And I think he has done everything he can to show that staff, to show the Alabama faithful, that he feels home with the Tide in Tuscaloosa. And the offensive tackle out of Iowa, who was for a very short time a Hawkeye, will step up big and be a big part of that offensive line in 2025. The 359-pound 6'7" junior will accompany two defensive studs for SEC Media Days. But I want to talk about Kadyn Proctor. We're getting close to the season. It's time to start talking about these players, what to expect from them on an individual level. And I think Proctor is a great case study and a great player to start doing that with. He's a good catalyst, really good catalyst. So let's talk about Kadyn Proctor after I cough. There it is. Oh, so much better. Sorry, everyone. Proctor, in his career as a D1 lineman, has given up 12 sacks. It sounds like a lot. Coming in as a true freshman and starting at Alabama, there were definitely some struggles. There were some learning curves. He came in at a huge size, claimed Clint Lim, I watched last night on Sharpshooters. He called them a dancing bear, which is an accurate term because um, even though he came in and his start at Alabama was a little rough, it was over there on that offensive line. Proctor has grown into the role. He's gotten better week in, week out, every time he's played, especially last season. I think he grew a lot. Now, what's interesting, and to Clint Lim's point, I don't know that Kadyn Proctor is the body type that an Alabama wants at tackle. I don't know if this is exactly what Alabama wants at the left tackle position, and just in terms of his size, because he is big, and you can look and kind of see what Alabama's recruited under Kalen DeBoer, and Kadyn Proctor is maybe kind of a throwback to the Nick Saban style offensive lineman when college football was about grounding and pounding. Obviously, that's not Kalen DeBoer's offensive style anymore. Alabama has to evolve past that. But I think because of Proctor's lateral mobility, he is still a very good fit on that line. And I think that I think that he will be, he's going to be solid. To be straight up, he's going to be solid. He's overcome some pretty wonky stuff with, he committed to Alabama, played a season, transferred back to Alabama. A lot of fans don't really know, I think, how to feel about Kadyn Proctor. I think that story says a lot about just immaturity, his age, understanding that, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. And I think the fact that he made it right and transferred back and finished or is going to finish the job that he started, I think that's a big deal. I think it says a lot about who he is as a person and why the staff have picked him for this honor of visiting SEC Media Days and being a leader on this team. And so I'm excited about Proctor. I think that Proctor not only will be a force to be reckoned with on the offensive line in 2025, I think that he could be a very important player when it comes to holding accountability in that locker room. And folks, these other student athletes there at Alabama, they know his story. They know his road to glory, I should say, for Alabama with, transferring out, transferring back in, realizing, hey, I made a mistake. I need to make this right. I need to get back to Tuscaloosa. And so I think that Proctor will be looked on heavily by other incoming freshmen. There's a lot of young players on this squad in 2025. There's a lot of experience, but there's also a lot of young, I want to say immature talent, maybe not refined as much as we would normally think. And Proctor will be one of those guys who can hold them accountable. And I think Alabama's missed that the past couple of seasons. There's been a lot of look at me type players in the locker room in Tuscaloosa. This vibe feels different. And I think that Proctor, a potential first or top 10 pick in the draft coming up, I think that Proctor could be the guy that steps in. He's the vocal leader. He's the authoritative type to really hold these younger guys accountable to the standard that everybody always talks about when they talk about Alabama football. And so that's why I wanted to pick him and just kind of talk about him first, somebody to look to in the 2025 season, because I think Proctor is going to be a pivotal player for multi reasons in 2025. I really do. I do. And so tell me what you think. I mean, am I wrong here? I would be interested to hear you as fans, your perspective on Kadyn Proctor and, how he transferred out, transferred back in, if you bought into him since he's been back, if you're just kind of like, I'm still not feeling it. Are you a scorned lover? What do you feel when it comes to Proctor's, we'll just call him shenanigans. And what do you expect out of him in his junior season at Alabama? Like I said, I think that Proctor will be a little more nimble this year. He's had some issues on that, over there on that left side of the line with, getting up and getting hands on somebody who may be a little quicker than him. He was a little slow at first when he would move left to right, but I feel like you can see it. When you watch the games, when you watch the season, especially last year in 2024, you could see it. Like each week he got a little better. He was getting a little quicker, snapping up out of that stance. And so I expect that to progress in 2025. Why wouldn't you? If he's showing that kind of trajectory, why would you not expect it to continue on an incline? And so I'm excited. I'm excited to see what Kadyn Proctor does. I think that he'll continue to keep that streak of first rounds alive in the draft for Alabama going into the 2026 NFL draft. Him and a couple of other guys. I think Alabama potentially has 4 guys, maybe 3, or excuse me, maybe even 5 that could potentially go in the first round in 2026. Proctor is definitely one of those guys. So appreciate you sticking around. A lot of recruiting news coming up. There's still a lot to be said about the house settlement. A lot of news coming out of Big 12 media days discussing schools overpaying players, front loading. Really interesting times. And we're going to talk about all of that. We're going to talk about some of that this Thursday night. We have Cruz will be on with us, so don't miss that. We'll be live at 8:00 Central Standard Time. But I think Alabama, in a sense, in terms of recruiting, and I know that a lot of you like to come here to talk about recruiting, I think that Alabama's sitting really pretty. I think that if they're going to lose a couple of guys, I don't expect it to be the 5-star guys. I will say that there's always that potential. It could happen. So this isn't a done job until December, as Courtney Morgan said yesterday. So thanks for sticking around with us. Please subscribe to the content. It makes everything better. It makes my day better. And I'm not having a good day. Make my day better. Make my day. Absolutely love each and every one of you. You guys are the best. As always, say your prayers, wash your hands, read your Bibles, horns down, beat Auburn and LSU and Tennessee too, and support Kadyn Proctor. Roll Tide.